Hi, welcome to Wednesday Yoga and Wednesday, Thursday Yoga. Um, I hope you all are doing well, and I miss you a lot. So this practice is going to use perhaps a block, a strap, a blanket, and maybe a chair. Some of you, I think I'll go through the chair use first, so you might as well have a chair nearby so you can do the chair. And we're going to do kind of the beginning of the Cali Ray series, but I don't know how much I'm heading towards that. We're just going to use a lot of those poses that we do at the beginning of that series. So we're going to begin either seated or lying down or standing. And we're going to take a position that's easy to maintain, doesn't take a lot of effort. And we're going to reserve our effort for just turning toward our experience. And we're going to look at our experience from the outside first and then draw in. And we'll take a moment to settle in. If you're on your back, you may have your knees bent or not. You might have something underneath your knees to make your back more comfortable, or you might be on your side. If you're seated, be lifted up enough that your pelvis does not tend to flatten the back. It keeps the curve in the lower back, taking the pubic bone a little bit toward the floor. And if you're standing, you're in Tadasana. You're feeling the earth under your feet and growing up out of that. And at first, you're noticing your environment. Sounds in the room, maybe sounds outside the room, and noting that those sounds are not there to disturb you. Some of those sounds you can control and some you can't. Probably the ones you can control you already turned off. And you might notice if you find any of those, sounds unpleasant or pleasant. And finding them unpleasant does not mean that you want to get rid of them. You're willing to just be in the presence of those sounds, whether you find them unpleasant or not. And if you find them pleasant, you may not be able to keep them around or control them. So just look at them as temporary. Anything that arises and in our environment or within ourselves eventually passes away. So these sounds or these interruptions or these distractions, or even the pleasant sounds are arising. They're sticking around for a while, and then they pass away. They're gone. And you're feeling how your body interacts with the floor. In my case, I'm on my feet, so I'm feeling the bottoms of my feet. But you might be lying down or seated, in which case you're feeling that touch of the body against the floor in different places. Just noticing that. Also noticing that it might be pleasant or unpleasant, or maybe just neutral. There are other stimuli as well. Those are the two biggies, but there are other stimuli. There's a smell, maybe. You can smell a scent. You might be able to taste something that you ate or drank this morning or recently. You also might notice that you have stimuli to the door to the sense of sight. Hopefully you're able to close your eyes, and then all you notice is dark and light. But it's changing. Perhaps. And you might find it pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Any of that. And then we draw our senses in and we begin to feel the inside experience. Noticing the breath is coming and going. And it has been coming and going the whole time, but you might not have noticed it. You might notice that the breath has a beginning of the inhalation all the way up to the top of the inhalation, maybe a pause at the top of the inhalation, and then it turns around and there's an exhalation. At the end of the exhalation, maybe there's a pause and it turns around again. So we are just noticing, not creating those patterns. And then we become more subtle with our awareness. And we notice that there are other experiences going on that arise, have a middle, and pass away, like the thoughts and the emotions. And today may be a very busy mental day or busy emotional day. Or maybe it's, pretty quiet, pretty calm. And maybe it will stay however it is right now. Or maybe you'll notice at the end of your practice that something is different in that regard. So just make a mental note of what your mind is like right now, what your heart is like right now, how the emotions and the thoughts might be arising and passing away. So before we stand up, and if you are standing up, you're going to sit down. Before we go into standing poses, we're going to do some core strengtheners. and a few just stretching out poses. So you're going to come down and lie back. And take your shoulder blades down your back. A little off my mat here. Taking the shoulder blades down the back, you could walk the shoulder blades under, or you could take the balls of your feet and press into the floor, and as if you're pushing back toward the shoulders, catch the shoulder blades on the floor and feel how they're pulled down the back of the body. And then placing the feet behind the buttocks. Take your arms over your head and reach and inhale. And as you exhale, draw the knees back, taking the abdomen in. Take the hands down. Exhale and hug in. Inhale, reach the arms and the legs, or you can put your arms down by your side if that's better for your shoulders. And exhale and hug in. Inhale, take the arms behind or to your side. Exhale, lengthen the front body, narrow the waist, take the abdomen in, and take the feet down. And release the arms. Inhale the arms back. Exhale, take the abdomen in, draw the knees back, long torso, hug in. Inhale and reach the arms and the legs. And exhale and hug in. Inhale, you can either put your hands at the side or arms behind. And as you exhale, draw the abdomen in and lengthen the belly and bring the feet down. When you lengthen the belly, it's like you're taking the rib cage away from the hips. Now do 2 more rounds and really focus on how you need the abdomen in and lengthened as you bring the knees back and down. As you're inhaling, you're reaching, and as you exhale, you're hugging in. Always taking the abdomen in and lengthening and narrowing the waist as you bring the feet up or down. And you can bring the feet down one at a time or up one at a time. Let this be your last round. And rest for a moment. Couple of breaths. When you're ready, you're going to take a block or a book and put it between your knees. Hoping you can see that a little better. Take it between your knees or between your thighs and press into the block and bring your arms out in a T. Take the hands up and see if you can take the shoulder blades down and in. Take a breath in and press into the block and take the knees a little to the right while you look to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, take the knees to the left while you look to the right. Inhale to center. Now you might be able to do this without the block and still keep the thighs together or the knees together, whichever touches first. And as you exhale, keep pressing in toward the center. Take the knees to the right. Even as you're going down and coming up, you still have the legs together. Inhale up and exhale to the other side. Draw the abdomen in. Hug in around the rib cage. Inhale back up. Now, if you found that your knees came apart or your legs came apart, put the block back or the book back between the legs. Inhaling up and exhaling to the left. Look to the right. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Look to the left. Anchor that left shoulder as you look to the left. Inhale up. Anchor the right shoulder as you look to the right. One more round in your own breath rhythm. Now we're going to inhale to center, hug in the knees. Exhale. As you inhale, take the knees away from the face and let them rest in your fingertips. As you exhale, take the knees back and hug into the shins or the backs of the thighs and take your buttocks a little toward the floor, even though you're drawing the knees back toward the chest. Inhale, breath in, let the weight of the legs rest in your fingertips so you can really relax the lower back. You don't have to hold on at all. The back is completely supported by the fingertips. And one last time, exhale back. So we're going back to that position with the block between the knees or not, the book between the knees or not. Take a breath in. As you exhale, keep the legs together, keep pressing toward the center, and take the legs to the right. Now, I forgot to say this, but if this is bothering your back, you can put your toes on the floor and work with your feet a little touching the floor. And we're going to stay to the right for a bit and anchor that left shoulder. That left shoulder blade moves down the back a little bit and in, and breathing. And as you exhale, come back to center. Inhale. As you exhale, go to the left, look to the right, anchor the right shoulder. It may help you to have your hands facing up so that you can really draw that right shoulder blade down the back. And you could use the hand press against the floor a little bit. The right hand, back of the right hand or the palm of the right hand. And as you exhale, coming back to center, inhale. As you exhale, the knees go to the right, the head goes to the left. Anchor that left shoulder blade, bringing the shoulder blade down and in and anchoring the left shoulder and drawing the abdomen in and up and hugging from the side ribs and drawing the legs in closer to one another. And then inhale back up to center and relax. As you exhale, you're going to bring the knees down, feet down, and you need to draw the abdomen in and either bring the feet down one at a time or bring them down together with a lot of support from the abdomen. And relax. Inhale. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Take just a moment. Now we're going to go on our hands and knees. If that's hard for you, you could do what we were just doing, which is really using a lot of the same muscles. We're not going to use the side ribs much in the next part, but actually we do. We aren't going from side to side. So you could do what we just did and hold it for longer. You know, you've just done it for quite a while and you're all warmed up, and you could hold it for longer. So we're going to take the blanket and open it up so that the knees can be at the front of the blanket and your forearms can be on the mat beyond the blanket. So we're going to do forearm planks. And you start out with the shoulders over the elbows and knees under the hips. And you're going to walk the knees back until your buttocks gets to be about as low as your shoulders. And we're going to hold this position, drawing the abdomen in. It's like you're taking a corset and narrowing that corset by pulling the strings in. So it narrows at the abdomen and it gets long up the front body. You get taller, longer, and the side ribs draw in and the back draws in. And you feel that strength coming from all around the waistline, around the abdomen, around the back. And the spine is being hugged into. And you're breathing and observing. And then you're going to walk forward with the knees again. And relax back in the pose of the child. If that's not good for you, you could relax on your abdomen. When you're relaxing in the pose of the child, you can put your head down either on a block or on the floor. I need to talk, so I'm going to leave my head up. You could put your arms behind, or you could put your arms ahead. And watch the breath and feel the breath come into the back ribs. So we want to be keeping our lungs healthy at this point. And especially when you're in a pose like this, where you can be very aware of the back body reaching up toward the ceiling, you want to feel the breath, how the breath comes into the back, because that's the biggest part of your lungs, filling that back body. The breath itself rounds the back body a little bit. And then as you exhale, you drop the back body in and empty out the lungs at the very lowest part of the lungs. So now we're going to go again. I'm just going to move my blanket back a little bit. Okay, so your arms are in front of the blanket on the mat, and your knees are underneath your hips. Your elbows are underneath your shoulders. That's probably a little closer than you might think to one another. And you're going to keep them on keep the elbows under the shoulders. So when you step back with your knees, you are not taking the shoulders back. Instead, you're leaving the shoulders over the elbows, leaving the shoulders over the elbows and taking the knees back. Now, this might be your pose again, and you're drawing the abdomen in and narrowing the waist, hugging in from all around the abdomen, the lower back, the waist, the sides. Or you might be curling the toes to face the floor and lifting the knees. Again, the buttocks is about the height of your shoulders. So you're breathing and observing. Draw the abdomen in. You're not rounding the back. You're not flattening the lower back. And you're breathing as naturally as you can. Taking the knees down, bringing the pubic bone down, and walking the elbows out, and resting with your head on your hands. So you can rock your hips, or you can bring your feet up and rock your feet from side to side, just relaxing the lower back. So we're going to come up into Sphinx for a moment. Again, the elbows are underneath the shoulders. And you're breathing and observing. And you're noticing, how does the lower back feel? If this is a lot of stress to the lower back, you take your hands and push them into the floor and toward the wall in front of you. And that will take the abdomen back a little bit. It will take the rib cage back a little bit, and it will support the lower back more. On the other hand, you may feel good letting the lower back find a deeper curve, and then you can pull back just a little bit, or something in between. And we're looking for this as a restful pose, allowing the slight action of the hands to affect the pose, but not needing to work a lot to maintain the pose. You've got the elbows set right under the shoulders, that holds you up. You have a sense of bringing the shoulder blades down the back a little bit and in, but mostly it's a pretty relaxing pose. This is a yin pose, not full of a lot of effort. So we're going to come out of this pose by stepping the left knee forward and the right knee forward, coming back onto the heels. And we're going to curl the toes to face the bottoms of the toes to the floor. And sit back on your heels. In this pose, you might find it's very stressful to the bottoms of your feet. Maybe the toes are really bothered by this. And we'd like to get our shoulders over our hips, but that may not be possible. You could put a block or a book between the calves and thighs. that lessens the stress, or you could even lessen it more by putting a block or a book on its end. So I don't know how a book would work in this case, but so that you're sitting not at all with your weight on the legs, but rather your weight on the block. So you see what is good for you. This is good for plantar fasciitis. Good for where we hold tension that we want every once in a while to let go of, so that we don't get into permanent habits in our feet. Now we're going to go back into squat with the knees together or the thighs together, and the abdomen really long. Draw the abdomen in and lengthen the abdomen, and then as much as you can, let the heels drop toward the floor, but don't take the knees apart in order to drop the heels toward the floor. If this is too much for you, don't worry about it. You can begin to stand up if you can't do the squat because of your knees. So now we're going to begin to stand up, and we'll take the feet just a little bit apart. Bring the buttocks up, take the feet apart a little bit, like in Tadasana. You can move your blanket while you're still part way down. And we're going to stay here just a moment. And separate our toes. You've got your knees bent. Separate your toes. See if you can pull them away from each other a little bit. Big toes toward each other, little toes away from each other. And look down at your feet and see that they're parallel. You can put your hands somewhere on your legs, maybe on your feet, to support the torso a little bit. Because right now we're trying not to round the back. We want a nice, long, relaxed back. And feel the four corners of your feet, the inside edge of the ball of the foot, the outside edge of the heel, the outside edge of the ball of the foot, the inside edge of the heel, and the center of the pad of the heel. And while you're at the center of the pad of the heel, press down into it and see how the back of the thighs feel as you press into the center pad of the heel. Draw in through the abdomen and press into the four corners. Press into the center pad of the heel. And you want to feel this right in the back of the hams, in the back of the thighs, not at the back of the knee, not at the back of the buttocks, not at the sit bones. But you want to feel it in the middle of the back of the thigh, in the thick part of the muscle, not the connective tissue, but the thick part of the muscle in the hamstrings behind the thigh. So as you breathe in, you might relax a little bit. And as you breathe out, find the four corners, step into them, and then find the center pad of the heel, step into it, and activate the abdomen as you step into it. And basically, your torso hasn't gone anywhere. It might, because you're drawing the abdomen in, it might have a little fold room in the hip joints, which would take the torso down, but we're not rounding the torso or changing it. It's still long in the front, long in the back. Keep pressing. And then bend the knees, inhale, reach out, and come back up, pushing off with the feet to come up. And feel how the lower back feels, and reach up into the left hand and down into the left heel. and up into the right hand and down into the right heel and up into both arms and both heels moving down. Feel the torso align over the ankles, arms over shoulders, over hips, over ankles. And exhale. Tadasana. And standing in Tadasana, you're going to take a breath in and reach the arms up. And as you exhale, hold on to the right wrist and exhale and pull to the left. Inhale up. Once again, exhale, pull to the left. This time when you come up, see if you can bring the arms behind the ears. Exhale, pull to the left. As you pull to the left, reach both sides really long, even the left side really long as you pull to the left. Inhale up and exhale, release. Inhale and reach up. Hold on to the left wrist with the right hand. Get tall as you inhale and draw in through the waist. Draw long through the front body. Exhale, pull to the right. Inhale up. Exhale, pull to the right. Inhale up. Bring the arms behind the ears. Exhale, pull to the right. And even as you pull to the right, you're lengthening on the right side. Step into the right heel. And come back up again and release. You don't know this, but I see myself backwards. And so I think as I'm coming down, oh, my right arm is lower than my left arm. And all of a sudden, I'm lowering my left arm more. And it turns out it was the other side that was out. It's very strange. Somehow when it goes to downloading the file, it turns it around. So anyway. All right. So we've done a bit of symmetrical work here. Let's do some asymmetrical work. Now, I suggested you could have a chair. I'm going to put the chair out here and show you what we're going to be doing so that you can do it with a chair or not. And if you want to do it with me the first time, you're welcome to. We're going to start out, and at any time you could use the chair to hold on to the chair, or use the chair so that you're up a little higher than you would be if you didn't have the chair. So I'm just starting out with my right foot turned out and my left foot turned in, and you're far apart. You're far apart. And we're trying to come so that the right knee is right over the right ankle. And if you're working with the chair, one thing you could use that chair for is to line up the knee against the chair to see that it is right over the ankle. Another thing you can do is put your hand on it if you need to. All right, so Virabhadrasana 2. We are going to be swinging the hips toward the right and taking the shoulders toward the left. And we'll start that out by taking the right arm up. Now, what's happening in the back foot? It's turned in a little bit at the foot, but then we turn out into the outside edge of that back foot, And that anchors and strengthens the back leg. Now the hips move a little toward the front knee. The knee moves over the ankle as we reach back in reverse Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, bring the arms out. And you could be in a U. And in a U, you're a little bit more relaxed and you can take the shoulder blades down. And if you are ready for it, you can reach out with the hands up or not. Hands down if you can keep the shoulder blades relaxed. Now keep moving the hips toward the front knee. And then we're going to go into Parshva Konasana, again, reverse Virabhadrasana 2, and come down over the front leg, bringing the rib cage toward the thigh. You might be able to take the back foot back a little bit more. You might be on with a hand on the chair, and the chair could be turned around if that's better for you. And then this left arm reaches out, so there's a long line from the left heel to the left buttock to the left shoulder, and it reaches over the ear. Again, swing the hips toward the right and take the right knee over the ankle. If your front of your knee hurts, press into the heel. And as you exhale, put the hands down. Either they're down on the floor or on the chair, and you go into groin stretch. Then as you exhale, you're going to take the feet back, both feet back. If you're using the chair, you're going into L position. If you're on the floor, you're going into downward facing dog. And while you're doing this, you're lengthening the torso. So the pubic bone and the breastbone move away from each other. You're anchored in the hands, anchored in the feet. Working the buttocks up in the air, long in the back of the legs. And then we're going to come forward again. Step the right foot forward. And inhale. And come back to center. Step the feet together. So that's how you do it with a chair. I'll do the other side without the chair. If you use the chair the first time, use the chair the second time. Take a breath in, take the feet far apart, left foot toward the left, and the right foot points a little bit toward the left. The pointing toward the left is making that right foot want to drop in. So we're going to take more energy to the outside edge of the right foot. Left foot is lined up with the right arch. We're going to take more energy to the outside of the right foot. And that turns the right leg out at the same time that the foot is turning it in. So with the left arm, you're going to reach up into reverse Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, leave the hips moving toward the left and the shoulders moving toward the right a little bit. And bring the arms up over the shoulders, over the legs, over the feet. Breathing and observing. You could have your hands in a U, or your arms in a U, or stretched out with the palms up or down. You want the shoulder blades to go down, and turning the palms up helps that. Now breathing and observing. Up with the left arm, down with the left ribs. And you can bring the left arm onto the left thigh. If the chair is there, then you might have your hand on the chair. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, put the knee on the front leg right over the ankle and begin to open the right hip a little bit to turn the rib cage and the shoulders to look up. Now watch that front knee. If that turning of the hip up gets to be too much, it'll pull the knee out of alignment. So keep pulling back with the left arm across the thigh or the hand. And then lift the right arm up and over. Keep taking the hips to the left and reach into the right heel. And then come down into groin stretch with or without the chair. And go back to L position or downward facing dog. If your hands are on the floor, you're in downward facing dog, and you're really pushing with the hands, pushing with the fingers, pushing with the corners of the hands, and your weight is moving back towards the heels as you push off with your hands. And the breath is filling the back lungs. On the exhalation, you're elongating the spine and dropping the back in, emptying the lungs. Now we're going to step the left foot forward. I like to step back just a little bit and then bring the left foot forward. Groin stretch. You might have been at the chair and you step forward to the knee being close to the chair. And then both feet step forward. And inhale, arms out, reach up, and back to Tadasana, and back to the middle of the mat. I did that a little differently at the chair, that transition. All right, so when we're going to do one more round, what I would suggest, if you were having trouble with the sequence with the chair, stick with the chair. If you were feeling like it wasn't difficult and you want to try it without the chair, then take the chair away. You can always bring it back again. All right, so we start out in Virabhadrasana 2, feet wide apart. Turning the right foot to face the right wall and the left foot to face a little bit toward the right wall. Anchor the back foot. Really anchor into the heel. Step the front foot apart away as much as you can, but still have your right knee over the ankle. And you're going to be taking the hips toward the right leg, toward the right foot, toward the right knee. If it bothers your knee at all in the front of the knee, find the center pad of the heel and take more weight out of the ball of the foot and into the heel a little bit more. Step off with that heel, but now anchor the outer and inner corners of the foot. Back foot wants to drop in, anchor the outer edges of the foot. And that will help turn the leg, both inner and outer, and stabilize your back knee. Now we reach up with the right arm and exhale. Swing the hips toward the right. The arms come out over the legs, over the feet. You can form a U if you'd like and take the shoulder blades down, or you can reach the arms out with palms up or down, shoulder blades down the back. Breathing, reach into that back foot. Breath in, reach up with the right arm and come down with the right ribs. Bring the right arm onto the right thigh. Swing the hips toward the right. Deep breath. Reach the left arm up and over. And exhale, bring the left arm down and right foot and left foot back. Groin stretch. Back into downward facing dog. Taking the pubic bone way back away from the base of the skull and the base of the skull away from the pubic bone, or the forehead away from the pubic bone, or the breastbone away from the pubic bone. So you're really long in the waist. The abdomen just drops in and supports the spine. Taking the heels down just a little bit if it doesn't round your back. If you need to, you can bend your knees. Take the sit bones up as much as you can. And then we're going to step forward with the left foot. You can always take the back of the calf with the left hand and move the foot forward. Again, groin stretch, either holding onto the chair or not. And step forward. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, Tadasana. And back to center. Let your breath come back to neutral, to a resting breath. And then step apart again. Left foot turned out, right foot turned in. Be apart as much as you can without it hurting the insides of your groin areas. Left knee over the ankle. Left foot is lined up with the right arch. And that right foot is turned in just a little bit. You're anchored in the heel of each foot, but the outside edges are down. On the back foot, you have to really move that outside edge toward the floor. Breathing and observing. Left arm up. And take the hips toward the left knee. Arms over the feet. Maybe in a U. Shoulder blades down the back. Breathing, looking out over the left hand if you can. Really reach into the outside edge of the right foot. How does the breath change the pose? How does the pose change the breath? Inhale up with that left arm. Down with the left ribs. Drawing back through across the left thigh just to keep that knee aligned with the toes. And swing the hips toward the left. Inhale up and over with the right arm. Look at that straight line from the outer heel to the fingertips. And then tuck the left buttock in behind its knee. Reach, 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 reach. Put more energy into the heels. Inhale. As you exhale, bring the left arm down. You're in groin stretch. Reach back with the right heel. Inhale. As you exhale, go back to downward facing dog. And breathe. Moving the pubic bone away from the forehead. You want to move your weight away from the hands and the hands away from your hips. And then you're going to step forward with the right foot. Take a breath in, reach the right foot back and step. You can move it forward with the right hand. Groin stretch, step forward. Inhale, reach the arms out, bend the knees and reach up. Reach out of the waist. Interlace the fingers and take the palms up toward the ceiling. Reach the right wrist away from the right heel. Left wrist away from the left heel. Point the fingers up, reach, and come back to Tadasana. Come back to center. Now, if you would like to do Virabhadrasana 3 before we rest, you could try that now. You could use the chair. You could use the wall. We worked hard. You may want to just lie down and rest. If you're going to do the pose, set up your props. Take a breath in and reach the arms. As you reach the arms, the abdomen generally will drop in a bit. Draw it in and reach up as far as you can, and then reach back with the left leg. And so now your left leg is reaching, and you're folding over the right hip and reaching out with the arms and reaching back with the back heel. Oops, I hit my chair. You have to be able to really reach. Reaching out with the arms, reaching back with the leg. Really reach, 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 reach. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and release.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Meredith. And then going to the other side.
I got it, Wendy. It's the
And-
same one, Wendy.
Good. Okay. See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. See you mail tomorrow.
See you mail tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Love you. Inhale and reach up. From Tadasana, get really tall. And you want to really use your abdomen and those side rib muscles, the obliques you want to use. You're going to really reach and reach and reach. When you go into this pose, reach back with the right foot. Reach back with the right foot and keep reaching with that right heel. And don't point your toes, but rather pull the toes back toward the ankle and reach with the heel, reach with the arms, reach with the heel, reach with the arms. And as you exhale, come back. Okay. We're going to to come back onto the floor. You're going to rest on your back. And before we go into relaxation, just rest on your back. Take the knees back and hug them in. Rock from side to side. Draw circles with the knees. Go the other way. Inhale, and as you exhale, hug in. And then bring the feet down. Lengthen the legs. You keep lying down. I'm just going to come back to sitting so that I can project well, get to my bow and everything. So you're lying on your back. You can take your right arm. You might have your knees bent, or you might have something under your knees to support your lower back. You could even be on your side. But you're going to take your right arm and you're going to reach it out and get really strong in the right arm. It's just maybe an inch at the most off the floor. And then let it go. And then the left arm, reach and tighten, 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 and then let it go. Breathing and observing. You're watching the breath as it comes and goes. If your legs are stretched out, you could do the same thing with your legs that you just did with your arms. Reach one leg off the floor, just at the most an inch off the floor, and tighten it and tighten it and tighten it, and then drop it. And tighten the left leg. Lift it off the floor just at the most an inch. Tighten, 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 and drop. Let the feet flop apart if your legs are stretched out. Notice the breath. Maybe your breath has not quite returned to its resting pace. Just watch it. You don't have to make it return. It'll find its own way there. Now, trusting that every breath comes in with energy, with prana. And that energy has the ability to stimulate all the cells in your body and to get the cells to loosen up what they don't need. And then when you're ready to exhale, that stuff that was in the cells can leave. It might be stuff that the cells needed at one time and now it's done with it. Or maybe some waste products that it needs to get rid of. Or it could be memory, cellular memory of something in your life, some experience, some thought, some words. You don't have to know what it is. Just let go a little bit. When you exhale, let go a little bit, soften a little bit, and the energy will take that stuff out. So it's like you're cleaning house as you're breathing. Each breath in brings in the sweepers that clean the stuff out, and each breath out just releases what you don't need. And while your body is emptying of what it doesn't need, it's also receiving just what it needs at this moment. And you're aware of this very moment, what it's like in this body, in this moment. Maybe you can notice the thoughts and the emotions and notice if they're different. Right in this moment, we even relax our resistance to gravity. Any place you feel your body resisting, see if you can let it go. If you can tell that a muscle is tight, then that's key to being able to let it go. And you can use the breath, continuing to breathe into different areas of the body that might be tight. And with each exhalation, letting go of what you don't need, trusting that if anything goes that you do need, it'll come back. Trusting that you can let go at a deeper and deeper and deeper level. Breathing, observing. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just breathing, observing, relaxing, letting go. So as you're relaxing and letting go, notice if you find this pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Just staying with whether you find it pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. And bring a little smile to your face. And notice how the rest of the body experiences that smile. Knowing that it's not just happening in your face. That smile is happening other places as well. I just picked a card out of the basket. Sorry, I forgot the ritual at the beginning. But it's an interesting one. It says the real breakthrough is boredom. So sometimes when we're in relaxation, we want to get up and get going because it's boring. But the real breakthrough is in being present with boring, with boredom. And I guess we have a lot of opportunity for studying that right now because we don't get to do as many things that we're used to doing that break the boredom. So next time you feel bored, just sit with it and see. Do a check-in on boredom. What does boredom feel like? And can I be present with boredom? Now you are welcome to just rest there as long as you want. for sure, as long as you want, since you're at home. And if you feel like you're ready to get up and you want to sit with me for a moment, you're welcome to move a little bit and then eventually come to your side and come up. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. So I recognize in each one of you that within you is a place of love and light and truth and peace. And I know that when you touch into that, you touch into a very deep part of yourself. And that when we can come from that inner source of peace and share it with one another, we have the opportunity to help us each connect to that in ourselves and to make the world a better place. Namaste. I'm sending you a little document that talks about cleansing and some things you can do in the time of staying at home, what you can do for yourself to keep yourself a little healthier. It came from Yoga U Online, so I'll send you that. And then there's one pose I forgot to do, and that's the lion pose. And I'm just going to go through it once with you right now. And it's kind of fun. You can be sitting cross-legged or you can sit on your knees. And you take a breath in and fill the back part of the body because that's where the deepest and broadest part of the lungs are. And then come forward and stick the tongue out and go. Come forward, inhale back. Fill the lungs. And then the last couple of times you can round back, fill the lungs. And as you come forward, cross your eyes and make the lion noise. One more time. And relax. Have fun. Love you. Bye.